it's better to have like one bird in the hand than two in the bush.
Yeah.
Right. So it's better to have like one business that works than try to start like three other businesses that haven't proved to be working.
If you want to make money, you either make someone who's wealthy more money or you save them time.
There's only two types of people. There's people who learn from other people's mistakes and they avoid the trials and errors and they avoid like wasting too much time and they actually invest in themselves to learn the proper practices. Or there's people who are going to fumble around, waste their time and procrastinate and probably waste a lot of their potential.
So welcome back, everyone. Welcome to another podcast episode. Here today we have Limo. Limo, thank you very much for coming here.
Man, yeah.
Limo, well, as an introduction, we want to say a little bit more of what you do exactly and what niches are you into, so people can know a bit more about you.
Sure. So yeah, basically myself, I'm Limo. I'm half French, half Tunisian. I've been traveling all over the places. I've been living in Canada for 5 years, lived in Paris, lived in Tunisia, in London, Bucharest. I've traveled a lot and I've always been into business. So right now I still have a business. Before I was in e-commerce. I had like multiple e-commerce stores. I was selling products online and now I'm more into coaching and info products. So right now I specialize more in helping entrepreneurs, men, to improve their dating lives, improve their confidence, their lifestyle, and really have a lot of options with women, especially busy entrepreneurs. That's mostly my avatar, because usually guys who are just starting out or they don't have a business, either they don't have the money to invest, or it's not really, they're not as serious about it. So
they're not that much invest into that specific side of their lives.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing, and I also have an app that allows entrepreneurs. So I'm always helping entrepreneurs, like whether it's for dating or for also networking or business. I like to help entrepreneurs mainly. So I also have an app that's kind of a mix between Tinder and LinkedIn that allows business owners to instantly connect with other verified business owners anywhere they go. But it's still in development. Like it's not ready 100% yet, so we're still in the making, you know.
Great.
Yeah.
I always move with that saying that's like, if you want to make money, you either make someone who's wealthy more money or you save them time.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you also focus on that. I was going to ask you, like, what brought you, like, how we ended up meeting here in Thailand out of all the places in the world? I think you answered that saying that you travel a lot, but why Thailand, for example?
Yeah, first of all, it's so random how we met. I mean, we met like, we met at the gym.
Yeah.
We met in the sauna, had a quick conversation.
Great place to meet entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and women. And women too. Met so many girls from the sauna. And it's great. And you were the one, and props to you, to initiate the conversation. And that's a good trait that you have. It's like you have this trait of like you're good with people and you're good at initiating things. So that's a huge trait, and that's what I liked in you. So we connected very quickly, very fast. We had a great connection very fast, and then we exchanged contact, and here we are.
Yeah, let's see what comes out of them, man. I'm very interested in a couple of business ideas that I have already, which I'm gonna talk off camera.
Yeah.
But Thailand. Why Thailand? Taxes?
Taxes, girls. The environment is great for business. They call it the Silicon Valley of Europe because there's a lot of startups. There's a lot of companies like TransferWise and Bolt and.
I was gonna mention, especially now that so many young entrepreneurs are coming here, it's very good for you in your specific niche.
Yeah.
To get clients from.
But to be honest, like I've spent 3 years here. And at some point, it gets a bit redundant. Like, yes, you can meet other entrepreneurs. Like I've met you, for example, very recently. I meet new faces every year, but I feel like it's a bit limiting because it's a small city too.
It is, yeah.
So I think that at some point, maybe a bigger city like Dubai or a city with 1 million plus people would be better. I don't know.
That's interesting because most of the entrepreneurs that I meet here, they spend half of the year here and half of the year in Dubai. Most of them.
Yeah, I think that's a great move.
It is.
Especially in the winter.
Yeah. It depends. Like for me, for example, I want to be here because of the winter. Because that's when I operate the most, like the better. Like when everything's dark, everything is cold.
To focus, it's crazy to focus. I agree. I mean, here for focus, it's much, much better than living in Thailand or something where it's always sunny and therefore you're less inclined to do the work. than if you're here.
Yeah, if you kind of feel guilty if you don't enjoy the sun.
Yeah, exactly. I've been to Bali, man, for 3 weeks. It was so hard to work, so hard. Number one, it's hot. There's mosquitoes. There's stuff like it's exotic, you know, and so it's hard to. You don't want to work, especially when it's sunny outside. Now we were lucky because it was rainy some days, so the rainy days we were working. But when it's sunny, man, you just FOMO all the time. You don't want to stay in and work.
Exactly.
So,
especially in Bali, this is very also another good place to meet people. Not to focus, but there's a lot of people that you can relate there as a young entrepreneurs.
yeah.
Good place to make contact as well. But one of the other things that I wanted to ask you is, through your life, what was the personal growth pattern that made you become an entrepreneur? What made you decide? Because usually all of us, or the vast majority of entrepreneurs, what makes us become entrepreneurs is the fact that we want to be free, the fact that we don't want to be part of the system. So what was the decision that made you get into that position that you are today?
Yeah, very early on, since high school, I was very much attracted to money. I liked beautiful things. Like in high school, I was fortunate. I was in a pretty high level high school in Tunisia, because in Tunisia you don't have that many high schools, and the high schools that are really like rich people's high school is like the French high school.
Yeah.
And so I was in the French high school in Tunisia, and a lot of my friends, like some of their parents were millionaires, even billionaires in Tunisian dinars. So some of them had like multi-million-dollar villas. They were like, some of them were literally 18, showing up in high school in a Ferrari. I'm not even kidding, because there's such a high discrepancy of wealth. And so myself, I wasn't that rich. Like my parents were middle class, like maybe high middle class. We could afford a few trips a year. Yes, we could afford a few luxuries. In Tunisia, we were pretty high end, but we go to Paris, we're like broke, you know, compared to normal. You know, if we live in New York, like we would be like very like less than average, you know. But in Tunisia, we're rich.
Yeah.
So I grew up in this environment where I saw a lot of money around me, a lot of friends who had more than me, and I always wanted to have access to that. And I wanted to be self-made. I didn't want to rely on my parents' money. I wanted to make it like self-made. And I remember since high school, I've always been passionate about how people became successful. I remember I was reading back in, when I was in, maybe I was 16 years old, maybe the year before you graduate high school. And I was reading like the biography of Rockefeller, and I was like, shit, this guy is made it. Like he's so. I was looking up to him, you know, like Rockefeller, even Donald Trump. I like Donald Trump. This is something that I share publicly. Like I like Donald Trump. A lot of people say he says bad stuff. He says whatever. So I like figures who are. I mean, you could argue Donald Trump is not self-made because of his father and whatever. Still, he managed to do well for himself, even though maybe he had some ease with his father's heritage, but still. So I've always been kind of intrigued about how to make money, about how to become a self-made guy, about entrepreneurship, and how to afford beautiful things, how to afford jets, yachts, stuff like that. Now, I'm not at that level yet, but I've always loved big brands, yachts, stuff. I've always loved that shit. So since high school, I wanted to be rich. I knew that. Now, in the beginning, I followed the traditional path, which is you go to a business school, you learn, you go and you have a degree and stuff, because that was my only way out. Because my parents would pay for the school that I would get in, and that was my way out to go to another country and live there. You know, so I went to a business school in Canada, and my first year I saw that I mean I could go and study and stuff, but ultimately this is not what's going to make me rich. Like I was really, since the first year of college, I was reading about business, getting into courses about business and starting stuff. This was my testing phase, like starting e-commerce businesses, starting to read about business, different types of businesses. And I started with e-commerce, as I said in the beginning. And over the years, I was also learning about seduction and psychology in women. Because I struggled, my first year in college, I kind of struggled with women because it was a very different environment than in Tunisia. And so I was like...
Especially Canada.
Yeah. It was fucking cold, man. In the winter in Canada, it was minus 40, nobody was going out. It's a bit like Tallinn in the winter, very similar to Tallinn. I don't know why I always pick fucking cold countries, man. I need to pick warmer countries. Next time I need to pick something like Dubai, man. I
I
need
mean,
to
we
stop
have
living.
Dubai, Cape Town, Argentina as well.
Yeah,
Very good.
I know you're from South America, from Brazil, and one of my goals is to visit some of these countries too. But I know it's a bit dangerous there
It
sometimes.
depends a lot where you go.
Yeah.
Like me personally, I live in a place called Florianopolis, which is one of the richest places in Brazil and the safest.
Mhm.
Apart from that, you also have, let's say, Balneário Camboriú, which they call it the Dubai of America, which I
Okay.
think is the most similar to either Dubai or Miami.
Is it near Rio?
No, 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 way south. Like
South. Oh,
in the
okay.
winter, it's very cold as well. But I
Nice.
think it's the coldest for your kind of lifestyle and entrepreneurial life. But you're gonna like it.
I need to check it out. Yeah, if it's safe, as long as it's safe, kinda, it's cool. As long as it's not favelas or something, it's fine. Yeah.
And I was about to ask you, when you started entrepreneurial life, you told me that you went focused first on e-commerce.
Yeah.
Why that? What brought you to that situation, niche, and industry?
I think the market overall brought me to that because it was really a trend in 2015. It was the beginning of e-commerce, 2015, drop shipping, stuff like that. I was seeing all these guys making so much money, and I just saw an opportunity at that time. So in life, you have to seize opportunities in the market. Like sometimes, if you get in early in some opportunities, you can make a ton of money. So for me, I was like, okay, what's the main opportunity here? What's something where there's like I mean, the barrier to entry back in 2015 in e-commerce was really low. I mean, even now it's pretty low, but the competition wasn't as high. Now you
Yeah.
get into e-commerce in 2024, man, unless you have like a crazy system, you're gonna get crushed. But before in 2015, you could have like a very average store, something very like something not that well built, and you can make a lot of money if you're great in ads and stuff. But now it got a lot more complicated. So I think what got me into e-commerce is just like the wave of
Low, yeah.
opportunities at that time,
And what
and
was
the
the
ease
first
of doing.
niches they went to? Like e-commerce brands? What's the specific
Oh
niche?
no, so I was selling all sorts of products. At first, I wanted to do like a jewelry brand for men, so selling like bracelets. I had a brand called Limotti. So Limo, Limotti, like to sound Italian, like Giuseppe Zanotti or something. Like, I want to sound Italian, like Limotti.com. That was my website.
Yeah.
And I was selling like bracelets from Alibaba. I was ordering them for $10, and I was selling them for $60, something like that. And I was making like a good margin. I remember my first sale. I saw my first sale back in 2016. I remember something like that. I had a Shopify notification, $59.99. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? I got a sale. I remember I was at a party. It was at night. I was at a party and I saw the notification. I was like, shit, I'm gonna become so rich. No, no, no. And I was so happy. I remember my first sale. The first sale, you never forget it. And
True. I wasn't my first sale in ecom. I was on exam in high school.
yeah, it's always you get your first sale in such a like an unexpected moment each
Yeah.
time. But yeah, it's
And out of all the niches that you've been to, what's been like the ones in e-commerce that made you the most money so far?
So once I was selling cat products for cat fans. We had like a store called kittenheaven.com, and it was like accessories for cats and stuff like that for cat lovers. And yeah, we made some money. Not so much, to be honest. We didn't make millions, but we make like a few couple, thousands from it. I had a business partner at the time.
And what made you the transition? When and what made you decide to do the transition to info products?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the main reason why is because, there's this concept of like ikigai in Japanese, which is you have to do what you love, but it has to be useful. It has to be something you can do long term, and it has to be something that really like you're passionate about. Like you have to find kind of a business that really like motivates you long term. And honestly, selling cat products or some random stuff, like I don't care. And so I wanted to find something that I really cared about, that I really was passionate about, not just for the money. And after 2, 3 years of doing e-commerce, it felt a bit soulless to me, and it felt a bit like meaningless to just sell like some random products online and stuff like that. I wanted to do a niche that really motivated me, that I could stick to long term, and where I could learn new things constantly. And honestly, I like the human to human contact as well. So in the coaching and selling products, you're actually changing people's lives in real time. You know, you're connecting with someone, you're influencing someone's lives. Even in e-commerce, you can change someone's life with a product, but it's not the same. I prefer like the coaching aspect. And for me, because I was so passionate about dating and stuff like that, I saw that it was a skill I could monetize because I was getting really good at it. So I started doing videos about it back in Montreal. In Montreal, I had a channel where we would take videos on the weekends with a friend, where we would go out to in front of nightclubs and we would interview girls and kiss them and stuff like that. Back in 2018, sorry, 2018, 2019. That was kind of my era where I started doing content about dating, and then I started coaching. And with COVID also was a huge one. There was a huge rise in like Zoom, you know, doing Zooms and selling online through Zoom, through meetings. So that's when I also capitalized on that, like the selling info through Zoom and also selling high ticket, because the thing with e-commerce too that I didn't like is the margins. Because once you go through the cost of the suppliers and the ads and the store and this and that and that and that, you have very low margins compared to coaching.
Usually like 10, 15. If you're very good, 20, 25, but that's difficult to do.
Exactly, it's pretty low. Whereas with the high ticket coaching stuff, I can make 90% margins. I can make easily 20K a month with 4 clients, and you have less headaches, less bullshit, and it's better. It's more scalable for me. Honestly, I prefer that. Yeah.
Now that you mentioned that, there's 2 questions. First is in the production process, which we're going to do later. But the first one is, when you thought about monetizing that skill, what was the first things that you started doing?
For which business? Sorry.
For the coaching one.
Coaching one. Okay.
Yeah. Like you started creating info products, you started doing like a one-on-one or masterminds.
It's a good question. So at first, actually, literally, I told you I was shooting videos in the street in front of nightclubs and stuff. And literally, my first client was a guy who saw me kiss girls in front of him in the street. He saw me doing the video and then kissing the girl in the street. Yeah. And then when I stopped recording, he came to me and he said, "How did you do that stuff? Like, how? Like, can you teach me? Please teach me." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll show you, man. I learned this. You know, I took courses, I learned, etc. I can show you." And so then I took his WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And we stayed in touch. And then I told him, "Look, you pay me $200. I go with you nighttime next Friday, and we go out together, and I show you exactly how to do that." And so he came with me, paid me $200, wired me the money to my bank, Canadian bank, and then we went out, and he was dancing with girls. He was like spinning them around. He was so happy. He was like, maybe I think he almost, I forgot if he made out or not, but he was like very happy because he got to talk at least with a few girls, whereas before he wasn't doing it by himself. So that was pretty cool. And then I started doing also little seminars where, because in Montreal, basically, I was living in Montreal, there was like also some dating groups there that were already pre-made, because there was at the time a big company called Real Social Dynamics. Maybe you heard of it. It's like a company at the time that were, they were selling like dating products as well all over the world. They were doing like seminars, boot camps, conferences all over the world. And there was like a big group in Montreal for that. So I was in that group. And because I was one of the top kind of leaders and contributors to that group, I became the one who hosted the events in Montreal. And so me and my friend, we were hosting events every month. We were charging like $20 just for covering the cost of the seminar room. And 20, 30, 40 guys showed up, and me and my friend, we would speak about dating. And then at the end of the seminar, we would sell the bootcamp. We would sell, okay, look, this is cool, like we're teaching you stuff here, but the real stuff, the real knowledge and wisdom comes from action. So if you want to take action, come with us, like come to a club with us, come do it with us, you know. And some of them were paying like up to 1,000 for a weekend. That wasn't actually. I could charge more. I'm charging more now for that. But before it was really high for me. I was a student, like $1,000 for 2 nights, Friday, Saturday night, to have fun and teach them how to date. Hell yeah! So I was charging that. So yeah.
Interesting. And then when it comes, okay, changing the subject to the production process, because now I think by now that you do a lot of content, and that's the main way for you to acquire the clients and attract the audience. So I wanted to ask you if you can walk us through the video process, like from when you have the idea, or what kind of videos you do the most, or the ideas that you have, and then you convert them into a video, and then potentially get clients from it.
I'm a bit confused by the question, so and there's a bit of noise inside, but
Yeah.
I hope the noise canceling stuff is there. But
Basically, like to walk us through the video creation process from the idea and the concept to you creating the video and then potentially getting clients out of that video.
okay.
Like
So you
usually
mean
it's
YouTube videos, for
yeah,
example?
usually it's, for example, YouTube videos that people have questions about, or one of your clients that you say, okay, I'm gonna record a video based on this question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends. So sometimes, yeah, if I see that there's recurring questions that my clients ask, then I know this is a topic of interest that might interest some more people.
Yeah.
So I will make a video about it. Anytime I receive a question redundantly, I note it and I take a note of it on my Apple Notes, and I have like a note called video ideas, and I would put it like video idea. Okay, how to take a girl's number after you approach her. Okay, this is a video idea, whatever, you know, and I put it there. And so I have that. Also, I have a school group. Do you know School? School is like a new platform.
Is the one from Alex Hormozy?
Some of
Hormozy?
Alex Hormozy too.
Okay.
Yeah, they're partners on School. That's true. And so School is great because School is a community-based platform, and so there's a lot of people asking questions in the community, and I can also get a lot of ideas and feedback from that. And also one of the biggest hacks for YouTube is really finding videos that have already gone viral and that have already been popular, and just modeling it, like mimicking it, you know, just making the same kind of title, the same kind of topic, and redoing it yourself, but with different content. You don't want to copy exactly what the person says, but copy the headline, copy the structure of the video. If you copy popular headlines, you can really grow your YouTube channels a lot bigger very quickly. That's what I'm starting to do right now. My YouTube channel is not huge at all. I only have 2K, but I'm starting to do that.
But 2K, based on what you do and the kind of clients that you have, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Because if you, especially for example, if you aim mostly for high-end entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
let's say you close 1%, that's already like a lot of people who can pay for your services. That's like 2-3 years of just constantly income.
Yeah. And my clients don't only come from YouTube. I mean, we do a lot of outreach right now. Like I have like 5 VAs.
I was gonna say, actually, I was coming to that question as well. First, like, what's the process usually? Let's say, for example, from YouTube or Instagram, from the moment that someone discovers your channel until the moment that they're working with you, they're paying you. What's the process for that?
So there's different components, but one of the main process, for example, if he comes from a YouTube video, then there's going to be, normally at the end of the YouTube video, there's going to be a call to action to check the description, because in the description there's like a free training. And so then I have like an opt-in page that they can click on. They drop their email, they drop their phone number, they drop their full name, and then they can watch the video. Now, once they opt in to that opt-in page, we take their data and we put it in our CRM, our customer relationship management system. And then me and my setters, we then, if they didn't book a call, we re-engage with them. We say, hey, I saw you check the training, blah, blah, blah. Do you have any questions about it? Or where are you based, by the way? Or I will send you some more resources, blah, blah, blah. And the goal is to always book a call, because that's the only way we can understand their situation, their goals, and then show them what we offer. It's very unlikely that someone is going to buy without a call, because we sell high tickets usually, unless they buy my course only. I have an offer with the course only, which is more self-paced. But the real transformation usually comes from the done with you, like the mentoring.
I was gonna ask, do we also get upsellings from the course?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What's the
a lot of people take the course and then they go to the mentoring after that, and then they go to the boot camp after that. And so that increases the lifetime value, and that also gives them a lot more value for them, because it's much better to have a more personalized experience. If you just watch a course, you just watch videos, you have less accountability, and you have a way less chances of succeeding, because you need accountability, man. You need personalization. You need support.
If you want to, for example, let's say one of your viewers want to be in the position that you are, it makes more sense for them to straight away learn from you. It's what makes the most sense, and it saves you a lot of time. You don't do the same mistakes. You avoid a lot of mistakes. So it's always better to go and learn from someone who's already there. It makes way much more sense.
They can learn from me from the course too, but it's just that it's a self-paced, like it's do it yourself. Whereas if they learn from me from the mentoring, they have one-on-one access to me. They have 2 one-on-one calls. They have group calls every week. It's more personalized, and I can really give them advice based on who they are.
Exactly.
For example,
because like if they do it themselves, that takes a lot of self-analysis as well to say, okay, I'm failing on this. How do I have to fix it in this way? But instead, they have someone like you can say, okay, you're doing this wrong. This is how you fix it instantly. And I definitely see, for example, why they will pay you for like 3, 4, 5 grand for a week, for example, because that's in that week I truly see that they're gonna have way much evolution than, let's say, 6 months of a self course.
Absolutely, yeah. Really, like a lot of them, like in boot camps, like some of them, and even just to, even if you know what to do, because a lot of guys know what to do, but they don't know how to do it properly. And unless I'm there with them, for example, in a boot camp, and I go out with them in a nightclub, it's going to be hard for them to change some stuff, because we all have blind spots. Like, if I can't see how you talk to a girl, it's very hard for me to give you feedback, because I can't see it. Whereas if I'm with you in real life and I'm on a boot camp with you and I see how you talk and how you act, I can give you much more precise feedback than online. Online on a Zoom call, how am I going to check?
You have the Zoom call there.
Yeah, how am I going to check, how you talk to girls? I can show you what to do, but it's very hard to show you how to do it online. Like in real life, there's nuances that you can't grasp online, and that's why the boot camp is so valuable. Because my most serious clients, they come on boot camp. It's great to start with the mentoring, the course, etc. Do it yourself.
Then it's even better for you, more upselling as well. Even better for you, because then you have more upselling. So.
Yeah. But, it's not just for the money. Although, the money is great. When they come on bootcamp, it's better, more money. But honestly, like, real life experiences are better than online overall, because when we go out together...
Yeah, I can tell, like, especially for the boot camps, you probably ended up with very good connections and relationships.
Yeah, so many guys, like, I have like 2, 3 guys, they became business partner with another guy they met on boot camp with me. There's 2 guys last year in Athens, like they met, now they're business partners on something. They make money together. So, or there's other examples too in Montreal and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm also curious about the outreach process. How do you come up with the idea of adding VAs into the system so you can scale it more?
There's a guy online called Ravi Abuvala. He's a guy I follow for a long time. He has a company called Scaling with Systems. Okay. And the first time I heard about Filipino VAs, like hire a Filipino guy, I think was from him. And I have to give credits where credit is due, because I think it's a smart idea to just delegate to third world countries. Like, you pay someone $2 an hour to do something that can be delegated for $2 an hour. And I don't like doing outreach manually myself. It's so tedious, man. Like, go DMing people, random people online and stuff. I was doing it, man. I was spending like 8 hours a day doing that every day for months on end. Man, sometimes you want to kill yourself, bro. Like, just staying on your computer, on Facebook, prospecting. Nobody replies to you. Some people tell you to fuck off all the time, and like, I'd rather give it to a VA, and I'm happy to pay $400 a month for them to do it full time. So and there's a good website, if you guys, even for you, maybe you know it. It's called onlinejobs.ph. And you can find VAs very quickly. You just post a job offer. Plenty of VAs are going to reply. You do a Zoom call where you interview them. and then you pick the best ones. You put them through a trial for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You see how they perform, and then you can hire them long term, and it's great, man. Online jobs, I would recommend 100%.
And do you plan to scale it even more?
Yeah. Now we're just babies. Now we're just still we're still to the baby phase, to be honest. Like my goal is to do the 500K a month, a million a month. I know it sounds very crazy for
Nah,
some people.
it depends on
some
the
people,
reality that people are
Yeah.
surfing in. But I was gonna say, especially in your niche, wait, like, do you plan to do this in your specific niche, or you plan to do a couple more things to get there? Like, what's the plan for the next,
Yeah.
let's say, 5 years that you have to get there?
So the plan is to, because Higher Self Circle is my brand, but within the brand, it's kind of an umbrella brand that will cover multiple topics. So we have the dating, which we're specialized in. That's our specialty. But then we will branch out to more like also business and fitness,
Yeah.
to have the trifecta, because there's only three aspects guys want to improve, usually health, wealth, relationships. And so we start with the relationships, us, but then we will diversify to also helping people with their business, helping people with their fitness at the same time, but mainly dating. And scaling it more, like bringing in more coaches, more instructors all over the world, doing conferences all over the world, and pairing that with my app, which is the Meetworth app, to allow entrepreneurs to network together by themselves as well. So combining the SaaS, software as a service, with an educational business and with a personal brand. That's kind of the ecosystem I want to create, like personal brand merged with like educational company and SaaS company. And I think that trifecta is deadly when you combine it well. So that's what I want to do. And yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Honestly, I'm struggling with the app at the moment because the developers I took are fucking slow. And it's been 3 months, we're a bit stagnating. So
I literally got a request 2 days ago from one of my clients. It was like, okay, I need to create for me a system to optimize all the billings for, like, I guess by the time this comes out, it's gonna be solved. But like for the companies, the big multinational companies, they need to get all the different billings from all the like offices and everything all over the world, and bring everything together instead to go manually because they need instant.
yeah.
And they were like, okay, how long are you gonna take you to do this? I'm like, man, like if we're lucky, at least 3 months with like 5 to 6 full-time developers. She's like, no, we need it for next week. I'm like, yeah, well, good luck. I know who's gonna deliver that.
Yeah, man, great things take time, and it's probably gonna take more time than you think. Like I was so ambitious, like, yeah, we're gonna do this app in 2 months, we're gonna launch. Man, it's been since 2022 that I'm thinking about it.
You tried the no SaaS code?
Yeah. We're actually
No code
doing
SaaS.
no.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot of softwares that you can have access to now to do some apps without coding, but we still do code because the thing is, I've realized if you want to do an app on a global level, you better do it well from the start. Because if you start with no code and then, let's say, become successful and you want to scale it globally, then to turn that no code to actual code and to something more complex, it will take you so much time. So it's better to actually start with the code. And even though it takes a bit more time in the beginning, it's better in the long term. So that no code stuff, it's great to play with and stuff. But if you want to build an app like Tinder, like an actual Tinder, good luck doing it with the no code, man. You need to do it with the code. Yeah. So the no code stuff, it's great because it lowers the barrier of entry. You can try ideas, you can do stuff, you can launch quick. But you're serious about building a multi-billion-dollar app or something, you have to do code.
Yeah.
So
Great. Now, I'm also curious about if you have, for example, to start from zero right now, today, what will be the process for that in your case with your skills?
Well, I would start by learning from other people that have achieved what I want to achieve. So I think, like, there's only two types of people. There's people who learn from other people's mistakes and they avoid the trials and errors and they avoid like wasting too much time and they actually invest in themselves to learn the proper practices. Or there's people who are going to fumble around, waste their time and procrastinate and probably waste a lot of their potential. So either you learn from people who have already done what you want to do, so you don't reinvent the wheel, or you have to fucking try yourself and waste a bunch of time, and probably most of people are gonna give up or die in the process. Most people die, you know. Organisms die quickly, and there's a good book by Richard Dawkins, The Selfish Gene is called, and he says it in the book, like organisms that basically just rely on trial and error, they die usually more quickly, because trial is costly, and error is deadly sometimes. Like you don't teach your kids how to, like you don't teach your kids to avoid fire by throwing them in the fire, by testing them for themselves. Like you have to, they have to learn from other people's mistakes, you know, otherwise you die. So I think the first thing I would do, the smartest thing you can do, is buy other people's time through reading and understanding how they think, what they've done, etc. That's the first step. Learn. The first step, learn. Now, after you learn and you have your thinking straight and you understand some fundamentals about the niche you want to go to, then you can start, you know, building something. So I would just start by building a service. I would either do an agency or selling an info product or something and posting content online and getting some attention, because you can only convert people into clients if they're, you know, if you have like traffic, if you have some people knowing about your services. And there's only a few ways people can know about your services. It's either going to be paid ads or content or outreach, and otherwise referrals like affiliates, stuff like that. So that's what I would do. First learn, then practice, like try things, test things, you know, test ideas. Try to get your first few clients. Try to get a proof of concept. You get a proof of concept when you have 3 paying clients. So try to get your first 3 paid clients. And once you have your first 3 paid clients, you know that, okay, we've validated the hypothesis of this business. We have a proof of concept. Now we can scale that. So in every business, I try to get my first 3 clients as quickly as possible. That way I validate the hypothesis of that business and I can go into the scaling phase, etc. So that's what I would try to do. Yeah.
Something you mentioned there was to create content,
Yeah.
which I guess you will create also a personal brand and a strong personal brand in order to go with those businesses.
A lot of people have faceless brands too. If you're very shy and introverted, etc., you can do a faceless brand, or you can use a spokesperson for you. But it's better to be your own guy, have your own personal brand, I think. But if you want to sell a product that's not linked to a person, like it's not a coaching thing, for example, then you don't need a personal brand. If you have like an SEO agency or whatever, or some other service like that, you don't need, but it helps. Nowadays it helps, because people want to do business with other people that they know, like, and trust. And so it helps to know that, okay, the CEO of this company is a cool guy. He's not some dork or some weird guy. Like, it's better to see that, okay, you see who's in charge in this company.
And in the process, like, how will you build right now if you went from zero, your personal brand? What will be the steps that you use to go from zero to, let's say, where you are right now?
It's a good question. So first, I would be very clear about what kind of people I want to serve and what would be my niche. So you have to pick your niche. Now, to pick your niche, you can try different formats and different styles of content, because if you're starting out, there's probably different topics you could choose. There's probably different topics you're passionate about. For you, it might be a bit of fitness, a bit of business, a bit of dating, whatever. And you have to test what you're more comfortable about, like talking about. And you have to test also the feedback. You have to see the feedback of how the audiences react. Do people like, what is the type of content that people like the most that you're doing? So post a bunch of content and then see what's the content that's the most high performing. And then you pick a niche based on that, you know, based on how skilled you are and how the audience reacts and the topics that you're the most comfortable about. Now, once you have a niche and everything, then you have to have kind of a posting schedule and stick to something and stick to some channels. Now, I recommend sticking to 1 or 2 channels in the beginning, and not go everywhere, not be a Gary V from the beginning. You know Gary V?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Gary V says, okay, you need to post like 20 pieces of content everywhere, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. But in the beginning, when you're starting out, it's very hard to post like 20 pieces of content everywhere. So instead of being everywhere, be like omnipresent in one or two platforms. Like you post like every week, every day, whatever. That way you master that platform, like you master YouTube or you master Instagram, and then you scale it from there. And you have to have a posting schedule. So you have to post minimum, like, it depends. YouTube, minimum 1 or 2 times a week if you're serious. Instagram, everyday stories ideally, and then some reels, carousels, posts at least 3, 4 times a week. And then depends on the other platforms. But yeah, you have to stick to it. You have to produce minimum, I would say 300 pieces of content before you really master kind of your topic. Like, unless you've done at least 300, 500 videos, don't expect to blow up. Like, you have to really put in the reps. I think, I don't know if it was Mr. Beast or something, but he got like his first 1,000 followers from his like 50th video or something. Like, so it takes time.
Yeah.
Like your first few videos, you're gonna get zero. So yeah.
Interesting. Like I was ready to the next two questions, which is starting from zero on both brand and money. What will be the three mistakes that you will avoid? One, I think you reply, which is avoiding doing mistakes yourself and learning from others.
Mm-hmm.
What will be the other two?
The mistakes that I would avoid on my way to success.
Yeah, three things that you say, okay, this is definitely, I'm not going to repeat that.
Yeah, the second thing is shiny object syndrome. So, man, I was very much, I fell into shiny object syndrome many times because every time you see a guy online talking about something and you want to try it, and then you get distracted by that, or you try a new thing, a shiny thing, instead of sticking to the thing that already works.
Yeah.
And you become like a niche switcher. You switch niches all the time. You switch things. That's a big mistake. And this also comes hand in hand with the guys who try to start like different businesses at once. Like they try to chase too many rabbits. There's a famous quote: "If you chase too many rabbits, you catch none." And it's better to have like one bird in the hand than two in the bush.
Yeah.
Right. So it's better to have like one business that works than try to start like 3 other businesses that haven't proved to be working and then fucking up the thing you already have. So that's a big mistake too. Third mistake, I would say, not managing my time well enough, man. I've wasted a bunch of time, when I look back, sometimes I wasted a bunch of time scrolling or doing some bullshit, and just like managing my time better, and all of that. Sometimes I could have managed my time better. Yeah. So really like being good at time management, productivity, stuff like that. And I've always prioritized my health. That's a good thing I've done. I think a lot of entrepreneurs nowadays, they think, okay, it's all about the money, etc. Like grind, fuck the gym, etc. But honestly, now I prioritize my health over everything.
Next question that I had is,
Yeah.
right now, for example, you told me with like the goals that you have in terms of scaling everything.
Yeah.
Do you you said you plan to diversify in
Yeah.
the kind of services and business that you want to do, but do you also plan to diversify in terms of niche, or like to create the wealth in terms of like real estate also, or going to the service business, or just mainly focus on the infra products and...
Yeah, so once you make a lot of money in business, I think then you can reinvest your cash and diversify that into real estate, stocks, stuff like that. But in my business, like in the actual business, I don't want to diversify too much. Like, yes, I will stick to dating for now because this is something that works. I know it's proven. Then maybe I'll do a bit of business coaching, fitness coaching on top. But the main thing is dating. That's my specialty for now. And then with the app, that's going to also allow entrepreneurs to network together, etc. So I'm looking to scale the coaching business and the SaaS business at the same time. I have a business partner too, so I'm not doing this alone.
That's the main focus that you have, right? You don't plan, for example, to go in other industries or niches.
As I said, like one bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You don't want to catch too many rabbits or you catch none. So I'd rather have something that really works, that I know will work for years on end, and really become the master of that craft, like the top brand in that, than try to chase too many and stuff like that. So for now, I think I will stick to what I have and scale what I have, because what I have is already good. I mean, I don't need to switch niches like every 2 years or whatever. Now I will do real estate, I will do stocks, I will do stuff, but with my private investments, my private stuff, I'm not gonna go into that industry and try to revolutionize that industry for now. But I can do that through the app though, because the app is like, once you have a SaaS, what's good with a SaaS is you can go in different directions, especially a SaaS like mine. For example, mine is like a networking app for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So I can have deals with hotels. I can have deals with the Ritz-Carlton. I can have deals with some yacht company in Monaco to do like entrepreneur events. If I want to go into the pharmaceutical industry, I could have deals with that too, because I can help entrepreneurs get access to some drugs or something. I don't know, like some special productivity drugs or something, where I can sell supplements for entrepreneurs through the app. You see what I mean? Like the app is gonna become a bridge for any industry I want. I can have a credit card company for just entrepreneurs, for example, like whatever. So yeah.
Interesting. And now switching to the personal side, I'm very curious. Based, for example, on the learnings that you told me, the avoiding the three mistakes,
Yeah.
especially for you personally, what was the process that you had in avoiding, or not avoiding, but going through the hard times? Because something that you mentioned that I totally agree is focusing on your health first. Especially, this is something that I learned this year, that if I focus on the health first, everything else goes aligned with it and everything
Yeah.
goes smoothly.
Man, do more saunas, have less drama. When you do more saunas, you have less drama.
I was gonna say thank you very much for everyone for watching this episode. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.